also want to tell you that he has worked across continents. He is rich in political and economic experience. And so today is a time when we'll be talking about the launch of new parliament. So welcome to the show, Sitesh. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Kanchan. It's a great day ahead for our conversation, and I'm sure that you being in Delhi, you are happy, greater, and so please, how have you been?
Yeah, I'm wonderful. I am enjoying, as you know, the northern winters. And as you must have seen today, Prime Minister has done Shilanyas of the new building of Parliament. So,
Yes,
what do you think about this move?
it is better late than never. So this country, it needs to shed away any monument that showcases its unglorious past, or it shows our new acquired strength in terms of the world rankings, in terms of our economy, in terms of our technology, in terms of where we have reached as compared to our uh, neighbors or the world at large or the countries who became free around the same time as 1947. So it is, I think, a great honor to be part of this time when in the 2022, that is the 75th year of our independence, we would see a joint session of the parliament in the new building.
Yes, I also look forward towards that, and I also want to tell you that the purpose of this new building is at one level to offer an upgrade and extend the facilities and functioning of Parliament. At other hand, after completing this, it will serve as a landmark to commemorate, as you said, the 75 years of Indian independence. Now, the total built-up area of proposed parliament spread over 4 floors, um, and is about 64,000 square meter. That is around 17,000 square meter more than the existing one. So I think that is a big leap.
Yes, that is. And it is not only futuristic, it is also keeping in mind with the change or a different kind of a parliament few years or probably 20, 30 years from now. Making a joint parliament session to the seats of 1224, the government has shown a very interesting look at the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha combined together for a joint session, generally which the president comes and takes the podium for that. Apart from that, all the parliamentarians will have their own 40 square feet of an office as well in this. But it is important to understand, Kanchan, the need for a parliament from the perspective of the national heritage versus there are petitions around it, and therefore the inauguration has happened but the construction cannot begin because Supreme Court has said the construction cannot begin. And therefore it is important to understand that one, what is more important at this point of time: national heritage, national pride, and the concerns that are being raised in the petitions today. The international news talks about, many of the international news outlets, they also spoke about the amount of money that is being spent or being committed for this, that could have been used for others, more prioritized things. But I fully believe that the nation has to take a stand and the political leadership and the people have to support it. It is something like having the statue of our first home minister, Sardar Patel. Similar kind of outcry was made, but at least that was a new structure, a fresh structure. In this case, we are shedding away our colonial past, and therefore the construction of this is justified. I would also like to see in the same jest that few years, probably several decades later, even Rashtrapati Bhavan is being abandoned or made as a museum, and our Rashtrapati ji moves to a new India's own, building. And therefore, it is important to showcase this strength. However, there are, as I said, quite a petitions have been put into the Supreme Court. But today I also saw Ratan Tata was present there, apart from some foreign dignitaries. And Tata, as being the respectable house, they have got the award to build this new parliament. So this goes hand in hand all the time with every new construction, every new investment. So I think it's time to see it from a more of a nationalistic perspective rather than any smaller. Yes, climate and the cutting of the trees and all such things should be taken care of at the same time. What do you say?
Yes, I feel when we talk about petitions, I think it has become putting petition lately a fashionable thing because we find petition for everything. People are ready to go to Rashtrapati and to Supreme Court for everything and anything. But a part of this, what I feel is that from since independence, the population of India has been doubled, and the parliament, the old parliament, which is it is said to be completing 100 years. So the seats in the parliament is not been increased because there's no space. As Prime Minister had mentioned in his speech that there had been construction to fix Wi-Fi. There was construction in this old parliament to do new things. But then this parliament, because since it is 100 years old, it needs a rest. And that is one point. Second point is we need more representative. And as you know that this new parliament will be having around 1,224 MP space. I mean, that means what I foresee is that there will be increase in people representation in this new parliament. So that is a great thing, and I think this issue and this demand has been pending in the parliament from very long time. And finally, this new government has initiated and has concluded and put Shilanyas and started the work of building a new parliament. Now, when I just want to give you a little history, then how it started, because in October 2019, government is selected HCP Design, Planning and Management at Ahmedabad-based architecture firm to design the new parliament and redevelop the area around the central vista. The architect chose a triangular plot and next to the existing parliament to build new one. As a result, the proposed structure is triangular, and I think it looks very good. And it's not a circular, so I think that's a new design, new thought, and it is four-story building, so a lot of space to really work. We have separate places for each MP to look after the grievances of people who come, which is not seamlessly done in current parliament. And again, it is a paper-free environment, and I think they are taking care of all the trees, and they will be planting more trees. So I think that is something which would be very nice, and it will represent a powerful new India. As if you have seen the design, you will also find the emblem of Ashoka in between. So I like the design. What about you? Do you really have you seen the design, and you have any idea or your thought process on the design?
Kanchan, this is interesting from the architectural point of view. And I was going through certain discussions that were happening on the media, in television, as well as on internet is replete with so much of information around this. So from an Indian architectural point of view, this is something that India has never seen before. After 1947, if you see, we have not really built great national symbols just like the way before we had it from our history. So I mean, there are some exceptions all the time, always, like a lotus temple in Delhi, and couple of other bridges that we have built on Ram Setu, and one big bridge on in Andhra. But architecture is so important to play a part in this. I mean, but again, today the way the things are, putting up the Indian architecture in place and bringing it to the forefront and actually using it in a building structure, something that needs a lot of scientific fact finding plus balancing of that. And I always say that it is not about symbolism, it is about the actual implementation of those. So I mean, more or less, our Indian architecture was always seen as, making temples, big and bigger temples of the past, or the palaces for the kings. But what has happened is that there are people who are saying that, are we doing any justice from what was built in 1913 when Lutins made this design? Are we making an extension to that design? Are we taking care of the Indian architecture completely with the Vastu Shastra in place? When we go up to those levels, there it is bound to have so many flavors and so many connotations that sometimes it feels that whatever Lutins did at that point of time was okay for everybody in our secular country. But when today we try to put something of our own architecture, our homegrown, people are raising so many questions, which is sad. On the other side, I more or less, architecture wise or Vastu Shastra wise, I cannot comment much. But what I can definitely comment is that for the Atmanirbhar Bharat, this is very important. For the millennial generation or the generation Z, which will come for the corporate jobs, who will become the leaders another 10 years from now, for them it is very important, not only for the reviving of the economies, but also for the mindset and the conviction about a new powerful nation. I mean, this is nothing new that is happening in India. After Second World War, Japan made Tokyo Tower in Tokyo. It took a lot of money. There was a lot of criticism. Why do they need a Tokyo Tower just after the occupation? But it was Japan, and just after World War II, they started Tokyo Tower. It was completed in 1963-64, and then we had an Olympics in Tokyo Olympics in 1964. So that was a powerful nation giving a powerful message. And similar things have happened in USA after the Great Depression. So therefore, we all as a countrymen, we should welcome this new building. And I believe this is just a new way, new India. They have said that they will not demolish the current parliament. They will make it a museum, which is a good thing. We have to have the harmony with the past, at least as of today. We don't know after few centuries what the government of India or the people of India would do. But at least today we are not demolishing it. And that is something people should be really, the international people should be really happy about. And we are making just a 3 kilometers stretch from the near to the current parliament. And India is also, Kanchan, is on the way to become a 5 trillion economy by 2024. And a scale that is up to 20 trillion by 2030. This is the best time for the new set of generation to come up and take charge of the country and leave all the baggages of the past all the baggages. And when I say baggages, it is all about mindset. We have to think like people think about the nationalistic country when they, like the Germans, like the Japanese, like the Israelis, who for them the nation comes first. I think that is very important, and I think this is a great right direction thing that is happening.
Yeah, I also want to add one thing that we have been sitting in a building which is a representation of a colonial era, since Parliament is not made by Indian per se, but now we are coming up with a new building totally built designed by Indians, and so that gives a message of a stronger democracy. Now, people say that. Democracy originated in England, but what I feel, what I have read, that democracy was always there in India in the form of panchayat, in the form of small countries. Like if you have read about Kalinga, at the time of Ashoka, also Kalinga was following a democratic ruler uh, governance at that point of time. So now, when we are very powerful democracy. We are popular in the world due to our democracy, and now we have a temple of democracy, which is our own, built by Indian, designed by Indian, and you know the building will be constructed by Tata Projects Limited at the cost of 971 crores. So I really feel proud of this, and I feel that this is a right move when we are talking about New India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, and for young people who will cherish for long. And then again, this will house, and when we talk about Lok Sabha chamber, it will house around 888 members, and in Raj Sabha chambers will be having 384 MPs. So I think there is a also extension of representative in coming years. That's what I foresee, and I really feel good about it.
Correct. And I think, like in any project of this stature, there is bound to be a lot of criticism going around. People will try to divert it to the issues here and there. For some people, it is always what is happening at the backyard of my home, and for some people, what is always happening in the backyard of my country, and for some people, it is always the world vision. So the three have to be balanced together. And that is what is happening by this event in India. And I would think that going forward, before I pass on from this planet, I would see our Rashtrapati Bhavan also moving into a new place. And that the whole old Rashtrapati Bhavan to be given to Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, just like this parliament would be given to ASI to manage. And I think that is in the right direction. And probably this was the only reason why we also renamed our cities, Kanchan. We were discussing few days back when we were speaking about Hyderabad becoming a Bhagyanagar, or Chennai or Madras. I think there is a colonial past. There is a baggage that needs to be done away with, so that the new generation, at least the next one or the next to next one, starts with a fresh slate to redevelop the country. And by then also, I would believe we will not have anybody who would be born before 1947 in this country. So we will have a generation who will have to see the new India and take it forward. It is important for them to have the slate clean for them.
Yes, it was so wonderful to talk to you. And again, I just want to congratulate you and everybody, every Indian, on this day and for this important day when we are starting building of new parliament in Delhi. Thank you, Sitesh.
Thank you, Kanchan. Let's plan one day to sit in the new building of the parliament as lawmakers.
Yeah. Look forward, actually. Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.